Welcome back. One of the priorities in the new president's management agenda that's out from OMB is to, quote, cease payments to fraudsters and eliminate waste. Financial management leaders across government tell me they're looking at ways they can use technology to do that. Kerry Canfield's Vice President of Product Strategy and Market Engagement at CGI Federal. Kerry, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks
How
for
have you
having me.
seen agencies that are modernizing financial management systems use that as an opportunity to really amp up their waste, fraud, and abuse efforts?
Yeah, so the President's executive order in March 2025 entitled Protecting America's Bank Account from Fraud, Waste, and Abuse put financial management systems consolidation squarely in the middle of payment integrity. And the intersections across the different domain areas is so key. So budget talks to HR talks to finance, procurement talks to finance. So the pre-built integrations that Treasury has established, including the do not pay integrations, is a key tool for agencies to use to ferret out fraud, waste, and abuse. But there are others. Agencies right now are piloting with artificial intelligence tools and techniques, ways to use commercial data sets to validate before I make the procurement or before I make the payment, the payee or the awardee is who they say they are, and using AI to ferret out various fraud schemes and present back to the agency a risk profile before the payment goes out the door.
Is that maybe the biggest opportunity that agencies have with this new technology, is being able to assess the risk that they have to prevent pay and chase, is what people have talked about improper payments for years?
Yeah, so you want to start where your internal controls are the strongest, and payment integrity is an area where the internal controls processes are strong. Pilot these tools and see what makes sense for your organization. You may want to assess programs at different levels of risk profiles, right? It makes sense where you have the highest risk is where you want to put your time and attention.
And you anticipated my next question, which is, would you advise an agency to start a pilot program on a high-risk program or a low-risk program to get what kind of a sense these tools are going to yield?
Yeah, pilot something first.
Anything.
Make sure we find that there is fraud or there is waste, and you can identify some risk profile before you roll it out in full implementation.
What's the best way to assess these programs and maybe kind of put them on some kind of a matrix to determine which ones you want to try to attack first?
So the agencies are registering their programs with OMB and with Treasury right now and undergoing that process right now.
Are there common threads in what agencies see when they do these assessments for risk?
There are, and they have very robust risk management frameworks in place to assess the risk across the program inventory.
Does the risk management framework for waste, fraud, and abuse operate the same? Does one construct it in the same way that one does a more enterprise risk management framework?
They do. Yeah, it is very similar in terms of other risk profiles.
What do you advise agencies to do to measure these modernization efforts as they're undertaking them, to make sure that they stay on track, not just from a technology perspective, but also from a mission delivery perspective?
So at first, as a practical step, I would start with those systems that have been validated to have the pre-built integrations amongst the data exchange, as I mentioned. In various marketplaces, such as the FMQ SMO marketplace, systems and vendors have already been evaluated in order to assess the controls across the domains. So start there. And then pilot innovations where it makes sense. The thing we're seeing clients do with their fraud, waste, and abuse tools is they're implementing it within their own security domain so that they don't have to share it across agencies.
What's the benefit to that, or what's the potential risk if they did have to share across agencies?
If they have to share across agencies, they have to do the Computer Matching Act and the Privacy Act considerations and open up things in their firewalls to make sure that they can share the data across the profiles.
What will ultimately facilitate that? Is there a point where that will become necessary because of something that OMB or an executive order has told them they have to do? Is that something that you don't anticipate being an issue for a while to come?
Treasury is certainly putting time and attention towards that. The president's executive orders talk about data sharing, and a lot of yeoman's efforts have been made in order to share data across agencies. But right now we're asking agencies to pilot within their own security domain and really find out and validate where the risk profiles are.
We have about 30 seconds left. What would you watch as we move forward and agencies are trying these pilots, looking at the results and figuring out where to go next?
So continuous modernization is key, right? We have to work with OMB and with Congress to ensure that budget is available for continuous modernization. It's not only about squaring off the security or the cybersecurity posture of the agency where they have to do adaptive maintenance, but it's also the need to bring new capabilities in, either because of compliance mandates or because of the AI technology and the evolution that's available to the users.
Great to have you here, Kerry. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks so much.
You can read more about financial management system modernization on today's show page at fedgovtoday.com.